Welcome to the Nuke Zone. Talk about a freaking day. Wow. I could talk about Alabama getting beat, but I don't want to do that first, right? I could talk about Notre Dame laying it on Pitt, but I don't want to do that either. Okay? You know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about the 30-3 comeback. A&M played the worst half of football I've probably seen in a very long time out of a top ranked team. That was awful, man. Absolutely awful. If Marcel threw a good pass, it got dropped. Or he threw a ball that was worthy of being picked. There were six of them. They only caught two. I mean, if South Carolina even played good in the first half, this game, no telling what the score was. South Carolina didn't even play good, and it was 30-3 at the half. That's how bad A&M played. Okay, they played absolutely awful. That was the worst half of football I've seen by a top ranked team ever. Okay, it was absolutely awful. And it doesn't matter. Okay, Marcel Reed went from being completely out of the Heisman picture after the first half to in the second half, like that was his Heisman moment. Like 298 in the second half, three touchdowns, 28 unanswered points in the second half, and it should have been 35. I don't know what the third and goal play call was. Like, that was awful, man. Just absolutely awful. 28 unanswered. South Carolina had two or three first downs in the second half. It was absolute domination on both sides of the ball from A&M in the second half. Okay, they fronted them 30 points. They had a 27-point lead because A&M gave it to them. It's not that South Carolina did it. They just went. South Carolina didn't come out and just beat A&M. Okay, A&M gave it to them. They just straight up gave it to them. And in the second half, A&M took over. Just absolute craziness. Like, that was pure domination in the second half. Elko adjustments. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Whatever he's saying in that locker room works. This team is a second half team, and that was their best second half performance I've seen all year, and that's counting LSU. Okay, they dominated LSU in the second half, and they even dominated South Carolina even more. Okay, Reed finished with 439 yards and three touchdowns. We're going to overlook the two picks because nobody's going to think about them now because they came back and won that game 31-30. Okay, Ashton Bechtel Roman, I'm just going to call him ABR, usually what I say. He had 139 touchdown, humongous catch over the middle for 70-something yards, okay? KC Concepcion, 158, okay? Just straight up domination in the second half. I'm astonished, man. It was 0-286 when teams trailed by that much, okay? 1-286 now. A&M did what nobody else has done. Okay, that was the biggest comeback in school history. Just you can't speak enough. Isaiah Williams coming in, gets his first catch of the year, and it just happens to be a touchdown, the first one for A&M today. And it was just a start. Nate has a touchdown. EJ Smith gets a touchdown. Wow, I mean A&M 4 sacks. Okay, in the first they had 4 turnovers in this game. They were 2 of 6 in the red zone, and they won the game. On your worst days, and that first half was the worst of absolute worst, and they won. Isaiah Williams, like I said, stepping up. Craver, he was game time decision. He didn't even play in the second half. And Isaiah Williams stepping up, making plays, man, making a touchdown. He had another big catch later in the game. I've been trying to say it. Everyone, you can want to trash A&M, whatever, because they were down 30-3. I think that 30-3 win speaks more. Okay, they came back from down 30-3. They faced the ultimate adversity. Okay, that was the biggest adversity you could possibly face, and they came back and won. They came back and won down 30-3. Think about it for a minute. Y'all want to praise Indiana for having a game-winning drive versus Penn State, and yes, they should get that. A&M deserves more. 30-3. Come back and win. You, on your absolute worst day possible, dropped every pass imaginable. Okay, Reed was, I think, 6 of 19 in the first half. Something awful. He had 2 completions to South Carolina, and he only had 6 to his own team. And he threw 6 worthy interceptions in the first half, and only 2 of them were caught. Hell, 2 of them they dropped might have went for 6. But instead, A&M comes back and went. A&M missed 2 field goals. Okay? They missed an absolute chip shot from the 6. They had a pick that they took back to the 6 and did not score any points. KC dropped the touchdown. Craver burns his man, and Reed underthrows him, and it's an interception, man. But you know what? They won the game. Absolute worst possible first half you could ever have, and they won the game. That is huge. That is huge. That is going to do so much for this team. You do not understand the adversity right there, the resiliency, everything you overcame in that game speaks volumes to this team. It speaks to the culture Mike Elko has built. And I'm going to say it again. A&M is a national championship contender. I don't care that South Carolina was bad, whatever. Y'all had them in your top 15 before the season started. Okay? At the end of the day, they still have two of the best players in the country, and Dylan Stewart and Lenore Sellers, regardless of what you think of them right now. They're that type of dude, both of them. Okay? They're still a good football. This is the SEC. Shane Beamer was 6-1 against against ranked teams. And majority, I think 3 or 4 of those came against top 10 teams in November. This man wins in November. He did not today, okay? And honestly, I think he ran his mouth a little bit too much that first quarter interview, man. Just shut your mouth. Oh, you beat him by 24 last year. No, you just keep it shut, okay? Because you blew it. You had a 30-3 lead versus a number 3 team in the country, and you blew it. You have a 4th and 1, and you call a timeout. Just run an inside zone play. They might have pulled somebody. I can't remember. Okay, I don't have time to go relook at it. I got work tomorrow, so we're making this video tonight. You call a timeout to run inside zone when you have a 240-pound quarterback that is hard as hell to tackle, and you're going to hand it off to a running back when y'all haven't had a good running game all year long. You took the ball out of your best player's hands, and what might have not seemed like a crucial moment at that time, but you had a chance to put it away. If you get the first down, A&M never comes back. Okay? They probably never come back. But no, call it. You wasted a timeout. Put yourself in that situation, and you get stuffed. Okay? And then, honestly, this is just personal preference, the timeout when you took the sack, probably should have saved that for a little bit later, preferably after the 3rd down sack. I get it. That one I get a little bit more, but the 4th down timeout was just retarded on him. Okay? You either take the 3 or give it to Lenore Sellers. That was just stupid. Okay? And you were so conservative in the second half. You're scared to do anything, and A&M ate you alive for it. A&M defense shut you out in the second half. One hell of a game. One hell of a second half. I'm not going to say game because that first half was awful. One hell of a second half by A&M, man. That is just amazing. Okay? A&M tallied 4 sacks. Big time. I can't get over it. It's just absolute wild. And it just gets better. Okay? We're starting the day off with a 30-3 comeback win, and then we're going to roll right into the number 4 team in the country having the same type of day, and they lost. Alabama gets beat 23-21. Okay? OU, I'm going to read this off first. OU was 3 of 13 on 3rd down. They had 212 yards of offense. Okay? They had 12 first downs. Ty Simpson threw for over 300 yards. Alabama had 23 first downs to OU's 12. Okay? 23 first downs to OU's 12. But I told y'all, I said OU is going to have these turnovers. They're going to have to get a pass rush. Well, you know what? They got 4 sacks. And you know what else they did? They had 3 turnovers, one of which was a defensive touchdown. Shout out Eli Bowen. Hell of a play, man. What can I say? Alabama gave this game to them. They had almost double the amount of yards OU had. But they had them 3 turnovers. I preached it. I said, if OU wants to win, they got to get turnovers. I said they had to have at least 2, and they couldn't make mistakes. They got 3, and they didn't have 1. Kip Lewis had 2 sacks. Man, OU came to play. You walk in the Tuscaloosa, and you beat them. They went to Neyland last time, and they beat them. Now they got LSU and Missouri. They're in the driver's seat, man. Missouri runs the ball a lot. They got a freshman quarterback at Purdue at back that is struggling. We'll get to that later. OU's great against the run. Speaking of the run, Alabama outrushed OU today. They outgained them everywhere. And they still lost at home on homecoming. Okay, the number 4 team in the country on their homecoming goes down again to OU. Brent Venables just has the board's number. He blew them out last year, and he gets a dub here in DeBoer's house in Tuscaloosa. That is not going to go over well with Alabama fans now. Alabama's still in the driver's seat. They control their own destiny to the SEC championship. All they got to do is win. Okay, they have the tiebreakers over Georgia. They have the tiebreaker over Ole Miss, I believe, just because the common opponent. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Bama's still in the driver's seat for the conference championship. Okay, it's theirs to lose. And it's A&M and Alabama right now, unless one of them screws it up. Got it? But, man, OU, I think OU might have just punched their ticket to the playoff. I'm not going to lie to you. Mizzou and LSU at home. I like OU's chance here to go 10-2. Okay, you'll have a win over Alabama. That is big, man. You got a win over Michigan. I think OU gets in. Now OU's going to get in. I'm calling it right now. OU is going to get in the playoff, man. That is a big time game. Hell of a job to that defense. Hell of a job to the Oklahoma Sooners, man. I'm proud of y'all. That was great. Alabama, Ty Simpson, man. Y'all didn't turn the ball over. Y'all were so good in that department, and y'all are not good at it today. You just had a bad day, and you got beat straight up. Okay? I don't believe OU did anything super special to beat you, but they did. Okay? 23-21 in your house. Shout out Oklahoma. Hell of a job, man. Next up, Georgia. Kirby Smart still has Sark's number, man. Still has his number. We talked last week about having balls of steel, putting your nuts on the table. Mike Elko calling a fake punt. Yeah, Kirby Smart scores a touchdown to go up 21-10. You know what he does? He kicks it onside, and they get it, and that was the end. They owned it from that point on. 35-10 victory over Texas, man. Big win. I think you just put a nail in Texas's playoffs hopes. Like, that's a nail in the coffin right there, man. The onside just put it away. Stockton, 5 touchdowns, 4 through the air, 1 on the ground. Noah Thomas caught 2 of those. Stockton had him a game. I know the stat line ain't going to pop off 5 touchdowns. It's 5 touchdowns. This pass rush, I preached and preached and preached and preached. The line of scrimmage is where this game will be won on both sides of the ball. And Georgia got 3 sacks. They got 7 tackles for a loss. They were putting pretty much constant pressure on Arch. Okay, they held Texas to 23 yards rushing. Georgia defense, this is honestly their best performance, I thought. This is easily their best performance. Texas, 23 rushing yards. Like I said, Georgia had 128. Texas, the number 2 or number 3 ranked run defense going into this, and Georgia just ran it on them. Georgia, great offensive game. It was 14-10. You're like, dang, Texas is going to come back. And then Georgia scores. And then the onside, and it was over. Texas was done after that. One hell of a job by Georgia, man. And Georgia's just getting better. They're starting more and more to look like last week. I thought was their most complete game they played all year, offense and defensively. And then they roll into this week and build off of it. It was a letdown spot last week versus Mississippi State because you're looking ahead to no. Nate Frazier went for 187 or something like that on Mississippi State. And then they roll right in here and just stomp out Texas. Right when Texas had a little bit of hope, they're like, we got a chance. We got the touchdown. We're in this. And then, bam, punched them in the mouth and didn't let them back up. And they knocked them out. The onside kick was a KO. Okay, you got the onside, and it was over. Hell of a job, Georgia. Big win, big win. Next up, Notre Dame. I tried to tell you, y'all's Pitt fans, y'all are in my comment section basically calling me stupid because Pitt was so good against the run this year. And I said they hadn't played a backfield like Notre Dame's. They have not played Jeremiah Love. You know what Jeremiah did? 147 on the ground, 167 total yards and a touchdown. I told you, your quarterback throws a lot of picks and he gets sacked a lot. Well, you know what happened? He got sacked how many times? 4 times. He also threw a pick 6. Okay? He was 16 of 33. He only threw for 126 yards. This dude's been averaging around 300 or more. He throws for 300 basically every game. They averaged over 300 passing yards throughout the season, and he threw for 126 today. Everyone sat here and wanted to say this Notre Dame team isn't this, isn't that, because they lost by 3 on the road with C.J. Carr playing for the first time ever as a freshman in Miami. They lost by 3. Then they got beat at home by who is currently the number 3 team in the country, Texas A&M, by 1. And y'all all want to hate on them. And this defense, the defense gets sacks and they force turnovers. And they did it versus Pitt. Okay, they had a goal line stand. They did multiple times. They won 37-15. It was pure domination from the start. If you watch the game, you know what I'm talking about. They were up 14-3 for a little bit, but they just straight up went off. Fields, one hell of a one-hander, man. That was a hell of a catch. Great job, man. He had 7 for 99. Carr threw for over 200. He did throw 2 picks, but he had 2 touchdowns. Okay, you even made mistakes and you still won 37-15. Jeremiah Love, man, no, that spin move was dirty. That long the 56-yard touchdown run when Pitt stops, they're gonna shut Notre Dame down. No, they weren't. I tried to tell you. You hadn't played a backfield like that. Jeremiah Love spin move going to the house. Hell of a play. Shout out Notre Dame. You should be in the playoff. And I mean, you're gonna be. The committee loves you. And I think you're a great team. I don't care what anybody says. Okay, you're a great football team. You got Syracuse and Stanford. You're gonna go 10-2, and you're gonna be in the playoff. Hell of a job, Notre Dame. Next up, another one. I didn't call these guys win. I said they would cover. Arizona didn't even need the points. They win by 6, man. Great job, Arizona. 30-24 over Cincinnati on the road. First play of the game, they get a pick. The very first play, they get a pick, and then Monty takes it for 6 a couple plays later. And then, honestly, the wheels fell off. Like, they missed 2 field goals, the second one being blocked. And it was just like, wow, we're going to fall apart. And then they just came back together. They fought and they fought and they fought, and they came out on top. Great win, Arizona. You just killed Cincinnati's chances at the Big 12 championship, basically. They're going to have to beat BYU. And, I mean, they're already looking ahead to the game. Maybe they'll play better next week. I don't know. Sorsby threw 2 picks, one being on the very first play of the game. Noah Fafita, 294 through the air. He had a touchdown. Kyron Hudson, 8 catches for, whoa, what did I write there? I believe that was 123. He had a lot of yards, put it that way. I don't even know what I wrote, though. But anyways, big win, Arizona. I mean, you've had a couple close. You had took BYU to overtime. You lost. You had a close game with Houston, and you lost. Way to come out on top here in a close game on the road. Big win, man. Indiana. Yeah, you blew Wisconsin out. I mean, Mendoza, 299 and 4 touchdowns. I mean, he's probably the front runner for the Heisman right now. I don't think he should win it. Give it to my guy, Marcel. Bam. Marcel's my Heisman right now, if you haven't noticed. But Mendoza, I mean, great game. I mean, basically 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. And you did what you're supposed to do. You beat the crap out of a team that's not good. Good win. I mean, Wisconsin's given some other top teams some trouble. Okay, they beat Washington last week. But yeah, no, Indiana blew them out. Good win. I mean, that's what you need, okay, especially after what happened last week. You got a big game-winning drive at Penn State, and then you come home and just beat the crap out of Wisconsin. Good win. Good win. Michigan, you survived. Walk-off field goal versus Northwestern, man. I will say this. Michigan did double the amount of yards Northwestern had. Marshall had 142 on the ground. Andrew Marsh, Jesus Christ, 12 catches, 189 yards. Then the freshman QB, Bryce Underwood, 280 through the air, added a rushing touchdown. I mean, stat-wise, they looked great. Score-wise, they only won by 2, 24-22. But, hey, a win's a win. You're still alive, Michigan. You can make the playoff, believe it or not. All you got to do is beat Maryland and beat Ohio State, and you're in. Because if they beat Ohio State, they're going to have one hell of a resume. They're going to have losses to USC and OU. And USC still has a chance. We'll get that later. You got a chance. And I'm not going to rule Michigan out versus Ohio State, man. They own them. What makes you think that Ohio State can win? Because they're the better team? Yeah, they were the better team last year, too. They won the national championship. And they were at home. And you know what they did? They lost. But, hey, we'll see. We'll see. Michigan, you are not out of it yet. All right. Next up, we'll just go straight to USC. 26-21. They were down 14 early. Come back and beat Iowa. Big win. Jaden Maava, 254 through the air. Mekhi Lemon, 10 catches, 153 yards, and a touchdown, man. Dude, these USC receivers are cold. Lemon's the best of them. He is a damn good receiver, folks. And, I mean, they let you know, Jakeem Stewart, freshman defensive tackle, getting an interception? Yeah, I like that. That's cool. 26-21 over Iowa. Tough win. And you got it done. Okay, Iowa loses another close one. That's got to hurt. Back-to-back losses. You take the lead versus Oregon. I mean, they're this close. They lost 2 close games down towards the end. It's Oregon especially, man. And that just sucks for Iowa. But, hey, You waited too long to figure out how to play offense. Simple as that. I mean, you're about 10 years behind. But USC still alive too. Theoretically, if Michigan goes and wins out and beats Ohio State, USC beats Oregon next week and wins out, beats UCLA, they got the same conference record. USC has a tiebreaker. USC might be in the Big Ten championship. Okay? You never know. I mean, I don't know how all the tiebreakers work in the Big Ten, but they could make it. Theoretically, I would see it as they don't have a common opponent with Ohio State. Michigan beat Ohio State. USC beat Michigan. I'm assuming that's somewhat how the tiebreaker works. I don't really know. But USC, you are not dead. You win out, I think you're in. You're going to beat Oregon, and you can get in. All you got to do is win out. I'm not going to rule it out, man. I am not going to rule it out. Okay? Good win, USC. Miami, you blew out North Carolina State, and you got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it. Carson Beck, 291, 3 touchdowns, 41-7 win. Listen, you laid an egg versus Louisville. You laid an egg versus SMU. You're not dead yet. Okay? You're number 15. You can climb in there. Texas is about to fall a little. You know what I'm saying? They can sneak in there. Thankfully, Virginia did beat Duke, so we don't get an 8-4 team in the ACC championship. And I have no idea who is going to make it to the ACC championship. I would assume Georgia Tech. I think they are in. I'm not sure if they have another ACCs. Oh, they do have. They got another one next week. My bad. They got to play Pitt next week at home. But assume Georgia Tech wins it. I mean, this whole ACC is all kinds of screwed up, man. I mean, Virginia has 1 loss. Georgia Tech has 1 loss. I would assume them 2 right now, but you never know. It's November, right? Georgia Tech almost lost to Boston College. We'll get to that in a minute. This ACC is wide open, okay? I don't know who's going to get in. Miami could sneak in as a, what do you call it, just a bid. I don't know, man. They laid 2 eggs that do not look good, okay? But we'll see what happens. Now, Georgia Tech. 36-34 over Boston College, last second field goal to win it. Haynes King, 371 through the air, 53 on the ground. Rutherford and Rivers going over 100 yards receiving. Dylan Lonergan, 3 for 362 on him. Turbo Richard, 11 carries, 142 yards. That continues to be Georgia Tech's Achilles heel, is that defense, man. They got to figure out how to stop somebody. They end up making the plays when you need them, but throughout the year, what they've turned into is Haynes King win the game, okay? And you're going to have to figure something out, or you're going to get to the playoff or the ACC championship, and you're going to fall apart because somebody's going to stop Haynes, and you don't know what to do. And you cannot stop them on defense. So what happens then? Like I said, I mean, whoever goes to the ACC, they're not going to do anything in the playoff, I don't believe. Unless they prove me wrong, go for it. I would love to see that. That would be awesome. Okay, that would cause a lot of chaos. That'd be fun. But I don't see it happening, okay? Georgia Tech, you squeaking by. You got Pitt next week at home. We'll see what happens. Pitt's supposed to be good at the run. Maybe they'll be better versus y'all. I don't know. I mean, they hadn't played a guy like Jeremiah Love. I don't think they played a guy like Haynes King either. So we'll see. Navy, they just put a nail in UCF's coffin for the playoffs. And UCF ain't going to the playoff no more. They were kind of like they were the only G5 team that was, maybe the G5 team by the committee that was picked to be in it. And now they're not. Just Horvath, 147 yards passing. 146 of them went to Heinrich. Navy throwing for over 100 yards. That's awesome. Teska, 126 yards rushing, 14 receiving, 2 touchdowns. I mean, bye-bye USF, man. My G5 team is JMU, and I'm not leaving that. They won in a blowout today over Appalachian State. I like JMU to get in. I'm not saying they're going to do anything, but that's my G5 team to get in, man. Give me JMU. Shout out Navy. Big win. I mean, you got blown out last week without your quarterback. He comes back and leads a win against USF. Big win. Sucks for USF. So much high hopes. Everything at the start of the year. And, I mean, it's kind of beating Florida was their peak, I guess. But, hey, somebody's got to do it. All right. We talked about Virginia a little bit a second ago. They get the win over Duke. And Chandler Morris, 316 through the air, 2 touchdowns. Big time, man. Running back Taylor, 158 total yards, 2 touchdowns. You win by 17. Duke scored majority, 14 of their points in the fourth quarter. Pure domination. Big win, man. Good win, Virginia. I did say for a few weeks they would lose to Duke. I'm going to eat my own words on that. Good, big win, okay? Big win, Chandler. Can't say enough, man. I mean, Virginia, I don't think they are a great team, but they find ways to win. And that's all that matters. It don't matter if you're playing crappy teams, good teams, or great teams. If you find a way to win, it does not matter. Find a way to win. Who cares if by one score, by 1 point, by 20 points? As long as you win, that's all that matters. And they find a way to win, except versus Wake Forest and North Carolina State. And North Carolina State didn't count against the conference record. But yeah, I'm going to hate on it as much as I can, but at the same time, big win, man. And they're probably going to go to the ACC championship, assuming they don't lose to Virginia Tech, which I would not rule out. I mean, I like Kyron Jones. We'll see what happens. Texas Tech dominates USF, and this Heisman, I think, is honestly wide open, and everybody's calling for Jacob Rodriguez to win it. Well, you know what? No true defensive player has really won it. He would be the first ever. Charles Woodson returned punts and all that. Travis played both ways. Can J-Rod be the first Heisman to do it? I mean, they need a little boost, so you put him in on offense and let him get a touchdown. I don't think he's going to win the Heisman, but that's cool. That's cool. He's a great player. Tech has a great defense, and they just dominated UCF. Okay? They're going to win the Big 12. Simple as that. I mean, they're probably going to play BYU again. I turned the game off. BYU was dominating TCU, okay? And I had to do this, film this, but Tech they dominated BYU, and if they play again, it's going to be the same story in my mind, okay? Texas Tech, Big 12 champ. They're probably going to be the only team, I think, from the Big 12 to go. Because I think if you blow BYU out again, the committee can't put them in, okay? BYU's going to move up just a little if they hold on to that game, assuming they're still winning. But, yeah. Shout out Texas Tech. Big win over there in Lubbock. Ole Miss, you survived against your coach's next school, according to the rumors. I keep seeing Lane Kiffin to Florida. I saw a lot of Florida little burner accounts posting that he signed a contract and all this and that, blah, blah, blah. Do I think he did? I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I had no idea what to think with Lane Kiffin, okay? Personally, I think you should stay at Ole Miss. They love you there. They'll give you whatever you want. They will build a statue of you one day if you can get it done. And you're going to build something that hasn't been done there like forever. Or you can go to Florida where it's been done before, but I think you have more resources at Florida. You know what I'm saying? Ole Miss is already that team. You got to build that at Florida. Now, if he wants to do that, go ahead. I mean, nowadays in the NIL, with all the resources you have, you can build that type of team really quick as Texas Tech. But anyways, they survived over 500 yards of offense. Kewan Lacey, 224, 3 touchdowns. Hell of a day, man. In Florida, looking at stats, they had a chance. They had 5 sacks. They didn't do nothing impressive really on offense. And when somebody has over 500 yards on you, and you don't match that, you're usually not going to win. 34-24 win for Ole Miss. You survived. Maybe you'll hold on to your coach. We'll see. Ohio State, they doubled the amount of yards UCLA had, and they more than doubled the amount of points UCLA had. 48-10 win. They ran for over 200 yards. They threw for over 200 yards, and UCLA just couldn't do anything, basically. There's no need to deep dive into that. Ohio State just keeps doing what they're supposed to do and dominating. With that schedule, that's what they should do. They haven't played nobody since Texas. And what have they done? They've won every game since Texas, and they won Texas. They just win, and they win how they're supposed to win. Okay? Good win, Ohio State. Ahmad Hardy, 25 carries. Not 100, not 200, but 300 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns, man. And it's a good thing he did because Zollers was 8 of 15 through the air. But hey, 300 yards on the ground. 49-27 win for Missouri over Mississippi State. Their defense got 5 sacks. They got 2 picks. Big time. Ahmad Hardy, 300 yards. Performance of the day right there. I can't give it to Reed because he had a bad first half. Ahmad Hardy, 25 for 300. You are the player of the day in my mind. Okay, big time. Marcel Reed, you came in second because you had one of the worst halves of football I've ever seen. But you also had one of the best halves of football I've ever seen. So, hell yeah. Okay, and we're going to finish it off with LSU, 23-22 win over Arkansas. Arkansas had 3 turnovers. Bar Sharp with a game-winning catch. 23-22 LSU. No Nussmeier. Van Buren did it. I said they scored 40 of Van Buren on Arkansas. I was wrong. So be it. I said it would be the team whose weakness stepped up more. And Arkansas's D being their weakness, they held them 23. LSU's O being their weakness, but they scored 23. Sometimes it's just which weakness does enough. And LSU scores 23. They only let up 22. Big win. Big win, man. I mean, you needed that. LSU needed that win at home versus Arkansas. You had to have that one. You fired your coach. You got blown out by A&M, fired your coach. Go to Alabama and get dominated. I know the scoreboard, you weren't dominated, but you got dominated. Now you come home, get a win. That's good for the culture. That's good for them. Hopefully they find them a good coach. We'll see what happens. Thank you for showing up. I'm going to post this. This is Saturday night. I'm going to post it on Sunday. Y'all have a good one. Nuke Zone out.